Now, let's move to the third scenario. The third scenario is Xanadu. It's paradise, right? How does it work? It starts by the tension. We are in difficult times. The economy is not doing very well. There's unrest erupting everywhere. This is an opportunity. Some people always say change happens better when there's a crisis. That's when people are more open and more receptive. So it looks like we have an opportunity this year, perhaps than the next, with the global crisis, to have government, especially the new version of government, engage with civil society and saying to civil society, we government cannot do everything and we don't have the funds to do everything. So here are the three things we're going to do. We're going to do the infrastructure, we're going to do the health, and we're going to do the education. Okay? But we need your help, civil society. We need you, citizens, to get organized and to play your part.
We got started really on as a hobby, from the point of view that, there was a tendency. I think it's diminishing, but there was certainly a tendency, and I can only talk about my circle of reference, but for people to complain a lot and do very little. And I think that that was one characteristic I saw. But then there was another characteristic that I really admire about South African people, and that's very much a can-do attitude. I don't think South Africa is Africa, and I don't think it's like any other country. I naively or otherwise believe that we are very different to other people in the world. Because we'll always find points of difference and what have you, but ultimately when the chips are down, I think we man up to the challenge. At the same level as me, I'm an ordinary South African who really decided that I wanted to do something in the interest of my country, but needed to also earn a living at the same time. There is a way, okay? You can probably do it a lot, certainly with a lot more finesse than I did, but it was an interesting process in terms of trying to find an entry point, first of all, with to create legitimacy around our work, so an entry point to government. In other words, where do you start? Who do you talk to? And how does one go about getting the sanction of government to be able to create a program that is in the national interest and that would be supported? And again, and our model was unique from the point of view that we don't take money from government because we believe that education funds should be invested in teachers, which is the single biggest job creation opportunity in this country, and in more permanent infrastructure like building classrooms. Okay, and from our perspective, we said we had a value proposition, which is a portable desk, which can be imprinted with either a company's social responsibility messaging, alternatively a company's brand identity or product range, etc. So, and that would then access the bottom of the pyramid market space. You would get to build familiarity with consumers. Alternatively, you could educate people around important issues like TB, HIV/AIDS, malaria, and so on. If you had to dissect our model and look at a walk together scenario, I think that we've proven a number of things. And that is, with determination, you can get to your goals. It took me 3 years before government said, we like what you're doing, you can do it. And for us, it meant 3 years we couldn't go to a client. We could have gone to a client, and we could have, of course we could have. We could have gone to a client, we could have sold lab tests, we could have distributed them, but for us, legitimacy was a very important issue, okay? Because it means sustainability in our universe, right? So with sufficient determination, you can achieve a goal. I do not believe, actually, that walk together is necessarily Xanadu. I think it's a lot of hard work for everybody involved. I think it's a bit of a step down for government in respect of their authority and the way perhaps that they engage with business to an extent and engage with civil society. For business, I think it's a little bit of a sidestep in respect of, eye on the goal for stakeholders in today's terms means maximum return on investment. Okay, so there needs to be, to get to that scenario, there needs to be some mitigation around stakeholder expectations in terms of there has to be perhaps some social return as well. Again, my opinion, but just a perspective. And then for us as South African citizens, make no mistake, we're going to have to do a huge amount of hard work and outreach in respect of people that have nothing. Because if you go and stand in someone's shoes who has nothing, who, for example, will eat a meal, I'll give you an example of children, who will eat a meal 3 days a week. On the other days, what they do at school is they go to the tap, if there is one at the school, and they drink water to fill their stomachs. Now, when that person becomes an adult, I would hazard a guess and say that they're not a very happy person. Then we sit in our, our structured environments, and everything looks really good, and we're making progress, and the fundamentals of the economy are looking great. But believe me, they can come tumbling down if you don't look after the volume of people that are not happy. So that's one aspect. There is Dr. Louise van Rijn, who runs an organization called Symphonia, and she has created a volunteer initiative which is for South African citizens and professional South Africans to donate so after the scenarios were published. So she's created a Create Our Future group, okay? And the Create Our Future group is about people like us in this room donating 1 hour of their time per month for a year, okay? Now, if you translate that to language that we'll all understand, into consulting rates, okay? We're trying to build a group of 2,500 people. Low-end consulting rates for Deloitte, $1,200, okay? If you translate 2,500 people, 1 hour a month, 1,200 Rand, we can provide volunteers consulting services to government to the tune of 35 million Rand a year, free of charge, volunteered. So it's 35 million Rand that can be utilized on something else, is my point. Build more houses, build more classrooms, whatever. So those are, and Louise again, she's an exceptional leader in the space that she's in. But it's one example of one South African thinking out of the box and saying, what can I do to make a change and to get to this scenario, okay? But hard work, because you've got to find the hour, or she may hit you with a project that you require 2 or 3 hours of work on, or you may need to attend something or talk or this or that. So you've got to get out of your comfort zone a little bit as a member of society. But I do think that, in my mind, to get there would be very interesting if government had some kind of facilitation mechanism for entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship development, because it is so vitally important in job creation. We've seen it time and time and time again, the number of jobs we can create at multiple levels, because we know that in both other scenarios, one of the risks is a limited creation of wealth, a limited taxpayer base. Okay, so the more people we got out there paying tax, obviously, I mean, it's logical that we're going to be able to do more, or certainly government's going to be able to do more with the revenues which they're collecting. And I think that's, again, just coming from our position, one of our goal is, by 2050, if you look at current projections, we're in dire straits as far as skilled employment is concerned, because Europe, the United States, many first world economies would have poached our best and brightest. Okay, if we can work towards creating a society, because again, I think most of us have traveled a lot. There's no place like home, and if we can create the environment which is competitive by world standards, but where we're producing quality candidates from school. For example, one of Flumela's investments is a company called EduLoan. Now, EduLoan has been created because the financial services sector has obviously education loans are an opportunity, but what one pays for an education loan, never mind liable, okay, there's a whole bunch of other things you pay for. And EduLoan's coming in at like 8 to 10 points better than the market. Okay, all of a sudden you've just expanded the possibilities for kids who could previously not afford to go to university, probably by 3 times.